Have you ever thought you'd live to 90 or beyond? Most people do. But here's the truth. Most never hear. Over 80% of adults never make it past the age of 82. And it is not just fate, family history, or bad luck. It often comes down to 5 everyday mistakes that older adults make without even realizing it. Small choices, repeated daily, slowly chipping away at your strength, your memory, and your future. In today's story, you'll meet Leonard, a 74-year-old retired librarian from Oregon. He thought he was doing everything right, eating well, staying active, keeping busy. But one fall, one routine checkup, and one hard truth changed everything. The third mistake we'll uncover today is something so subtle, almost everyone watching is probably doing it. And the fifth, it is something so simple, so ignored, that even doctors rarely talk about it. Stay with me, because the next few minutes could mean the difference between a life slowly fading or one that gets brighter, bolder, and longer than you ever thought possible. Meet Leonard Hayes, a 74-year-old retired librarian from a small town in Oregon. 3 years ago, Leonard seemed to have it all together. He took daily walks with his wife, played chess at the community center, and read 3 books a week. He felt strong, alert, and proud of his independence. But everything changed after a short stumble on the porch led to a routine checkup. What doctors found shocked him: pre-diabetes, dangerously low vitamin D, early signs of memory decline, and mild heart irregularities. It was a moment that Leonard now calls his quiet wake-up call. One sentence from his doctor still rings in his ears: "Leonard, if nothing changes, you may not live to see 80. That sentence shifted his entire mindset. He became determined to figure out why older adults, just like him, were dying younger than expected. What he uncovered was both surprising and heartbreaking. The average life expectancy may be around 79, but many people lose their vitality long before that. The true tragedy, so much of it is preventable. Leonard's transformation began when he identified 5 specific habits he was unknowingly doing every single day, habits that were quietly shortening his life. They were not complicated or rare. They were simple. Let's start with the first. Mistake 1. The medication multiplication trap. Leonard never thought twice about the pills he took each day. By the time he turned 71, his bathroom shelf held 13 bottles. One for blood pressure, another for cholesterol, something to help him sleep, something else for acid reflux, and a few more to counter the side effects of the others. It seemed normal, until the morning he woke up dizzy, covered in bruises he could not explain, and too tired to finish a sentence. A quick trip to the pharmacy revealed something Leonard had never been told. Taking more than 5 medications at once raises the risk of early death by nearly 90%. Not because the pills are dangerous on their own, but because they often interact in ways no one monitors. Leonard found out he had been prescribed 2 medications that, when combined, increased bleeding risk. His sleep aid was making him foggy during the day, so his doctor added a stimulant that caused stomach issues, which led to antacids. The antacids then blocked key nutrients, triggering muscle cramps and more pills. It was a loop, one he had to break. So Leonard created what he now calls his medication reset. He wrote down every single thing he took, including supplements. He met with his pharmacist every 3 months. He asked each doctor, "Are you talking to the others?" He refused any new prescription unless he understood why it was needed and what the plan was to stop it someday. Within 6 months, and under close supervision, Leonard reduced his meds from 13 to 6. The brain fog cleared, the bruises stopped. He even started sleeping better without pills. Now, before accepting any new medication, Leonard uses his clear checklist. C. Consider. Is this a new symptom or a side effect? L. Look. Have lifestyle changes been tried first? E. Ensure. Are all doctors aware? A. Assess. Will this mix safely with what I am already taking? R. Remove. Is there a plan to remove it later? How many prescriptions are you taking right now? When was the last time you reviewed them all in one place? Mistake 2. The invisible poison in your pantry. Leonard always believed he was eating right. His pantry had whole grain crackers, sugar-free pudding, low-fat salad dressings, everything he thought was good for his heart and weight. But what he did not know was that many of these healthy foods were actually speeding up his aging from the inside out. The worst offenders, hidden sugars and artificial chemicals. That granola bar he had every morning, 20 grams of sugar, more than a frosted donut. His diet soda was loaded with aspartame, a chemical linked to stroke risk and inflammation in older adults. All of it was quietly raising his blood sugar and driving him toward diabetes. His wake-up moment came during a grocery trip with his grandson. While reading a label together, Leonard saw that his multi-grain bread had high-fructose corn syrup listed as the second ingredient. That led to a full pantry inspection, low-fat soups with sky-high sodium, healthy snacks full of preservatives, canned meats with nitrates linked to memory loss. Even worse, Leonard was drinking only 2 glasses of water a day, thinking tea and juice were enough. Like many older adults, his thirst signal had weakened. He was mistaking thirst for hunger, leading to overeating and fatigue. So Leonard made a change. He adopted what he now calls the 3 simple 5s. No packaged food with more than 5 ingredients. 5 glasses of plain water before 5 p.m. 5 natural colors on his plate every day: green, red, orange, purple, and white. He swapped diet drinks for herbal teas, deli meats for grilled fish, and chips for raw almonds. He started each morning with a big glass of water and kept a bottle nearby, marked with hourly goals. Within 4 months, his energy was back, his blood sugar normalized, and even his skin looked clearer. Vespal, his grocery bill dropped because he stopped buying expensive processed snacks. Take a quick look at your own kitchen. What is really in that healthy food? Check the label and let us know what surprised you most. Mistake 3. The mobility mindset death spiral. Leonard always thought caution was a smart choice. After a small slip in the garden, he started avoiding stairs, stopped walking on uneven ground, and even gave up his weekend walks in the park. I just need to be careful, he told himself, but that decision nearly cost him everything. Mistake number 3 is what experts call the mobility mindset death spiral. The more Leonard avoided movement, the weaker he became. His balance suffered, his joints stiffened. Within a year, he needed help just to stand from the couch. The statistics are alarming. Seniors who reduce activity out of fear of falling are 3 times more likely to fall within the next year. And every week without movement can age your muscles by 6 months. Leonard wasn't protecting himself, he was accelerating his decline. The wake-up call came when he tried to lift his grocery bag and could not. Embarrassed and frustrated, he visited a physical therapist, who said plainly, "Leonard, your muscles are aging faster than you are. Playing it safe is slowly shutting your body down." That day, Leonard made a choice. He committed to rebuilding his strength. His plan, something he called the simple 3. 3 balance exercises while brushing his teeth. 3 strength moves during TV commercials. 3 gentle stretches before bed. He began with standing on one leg near the sink, sitting and standing from a chair, and reaching down to touch his toes. In the first week, he could barely hold a stance for 5 seconds. By week 4, he held for 30. By week 12, he could walk a mile without resting. He added real-life strength movements, carrying grocery bags with both arms, practicing getting up from the floor, dancing with his granddaughter in the living room. He joined a community fitness group. The social encouragement kept him going. The breakthrough, learning that muscles can grow at any age, even in your 80s. That knowledge changed his mindset from "I must avoid risk" to "I'm building resilience." Now Leonard walks on gravel, takes stairs when possible, and does light yoga every evening. He has not had a fall in over 2 years. More importantly, he no longer lives in fear. What physical activity did you give up just to be safe? It may be time to bring it back. Mistake 4. The social isolation time bomb. Leonard never thought loneliness could be dangerous. After retiring from the public library, He looked forward to a slower pace, quiet mornings, no schedules, fewer demands. For the first few months, it was peaceful. But over time, that peace turned into something else. He stopped calling old friends. Church was now streamed online. His walking group slowly dissolved. Without realizing it, Leonard's world shrank to the walls of his apartment and the occasional grocery run. Days would go by without real conversation. And what he didn't know was that this silence was doing more harm than he could see. Social isolation, experts say, is as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases early death risk by 50% and doubles the likelihood of memory loss. For older adults, loneliness doesn't just hurt emotionally, it physically weakens the immune system, harms the brain, and accelerates decline. Leonard noticed himself forgetting simple things. He would lose track of time, repeat stories, and sometimes forget whether he had eaten. One morning, he caught himself staring at the wall, unable to remember what day it was or why he had gotten out of bed at all. That moment shook him. He picked up the phone and called his niece. "I think I'm disappearing," he admitted softly. That call changed everything. With help, Leonard began rebuilding his connections. He started small, waving to neighbors during morning walks, chatting with the cashier at the store, reaching out to an old colleague for coffee. He joined a community center class and volunteered to read to children once a week. He relearned how to use video calls and joined an online chess group. But the biggest change, Leonard started a Thursday supper club, an open dinner invitation for anyone in his senior complex who felt alone. It began with just 2 people. Now a dozen neighbors gather weekly for food, conversation, and music. Leonard follows what he calls the WARM method. W, weekly check-ins with close friends. A, activities that involve shared purpose. R, real emotional conversations. M, moments of joy through laughter and connection. The results were powerful. Leonard's energy came back. His sleep improved. His memory got sharper. Most of all, he felt human again, seen, heard, and needed. Now at 75, his calendar is fuller than ever, but not with appointments or tasks. With people, with purpose. So ask yourself, when was the last time you had a truly meaningful conversation? And who might be waiting to hear from you today? Mistake 5. The Memory Myth Massacre. Leonard Hayes, a 74-year-old retired librarian from a small town in Oregon, had always considered himself mentally sharp. He could recall blueprints from decades past and recite classic poems from memory. But one winter morning, standing in the kitchen, he couldn't remember his grandson's name. The fear hit him like a brick. He sat down, shaken, whispering to himself, "It's starting, isn't it?" For months, Leonard had brushed off the small lapses, forgetting where he placed his keys, missing a doctor's appointment, stumbling on familiar words. He chalked it up to senior moments, the kind everyone joked about. He had come to believe the myth that memory loss was simply a part of growing old. But here's the devastating truth. Accepting memory decline as normal doesn't slow it down, it speeds it up. Studies show that believing in inevitable cognitive decline can increase the risk by as much as 60%. Leonard was unknowingly feeding a self-fulfilling prophecy. His brain, like an unused muscle, was quietly weakening. Then came the breaking point. Leonard got lost on the way to his barber. It was a route he'd driven for over 20 years. He couldn't remember the turn, couldn't recall the street name, and ended up pulling over in tears. That moment, sitting in his car, was his wake-up call. He realized he wasn't just forgetting, he was fading. Determined to fight back, Leonard created what he now calls his brain renewal plan. Each morning, he started with 10 minutes of brain training games. In the afternoon, he practiced a new skill, learning to play harmonica, even dabbling in Italian. Before bed, he journaled about his day and read nonfiction that challenged his thinking. He also discovered memory techniques that turn things around: visual association, story chaining, and teaching new information to others. He even began helping his neighbors navigate their smartphones, combining memory recall with community support. But perhaps the most powerful shift came when Leonard added movement to his plan. Daily walks through the park became non-negotiable. He joined a local dance group for seniors, not for rhythm, but for brain health. Physical activity, it turns out, tripled his brain's ability to regenerate. He now follows the SMART principle: stimulate with new challenges, move your body daily, associate ideas to strengthen memory, repeat and teach for deeper learning, track progress to stay motivated. Today, Leonard's memory test scores have improved by nearly 40%. He plays harmonica for the local church, holds Italian conversations online, and even started writing his memoirs. His neurologist told him, "Your brain's aging in reverse." His takeaway is simple: the day you stop learning is the day your brain starts giving up on you. 3 years ago, Leonard Hayes was heading quietly toward the same fate as millions of other older men. At 71, he was pre-diabetic, taking over a dozen medications, feeling increasingly foggy in the mind and unsteady on his feet. His days were predictable. His social circle had vanished after retirement, and he was starting to forget the names of authors he once loved. He wasn't in crisis, but he wasn't truly living either. His doctor's words after a routine checkup hit him like a thunderclap. "Leonard, if nothing changes, you might not make it to 80, not with quality." That moment shook him, not out of fear of death, but of disappearing slowly, losing himself piece by piece. Today, Leonard is 74 and nearly unrecognizable. He now takes only one daily medication. His blood sugar has stabilized. He cycles 5 miles every morning, plays harmonica with a community band, and even began learning Italian to prepare for his first trip to Europe. At a recent checkup, his doctor joked, "If I didn't know your age, I guess you were in your 50s. But the deeper transformation wasn't physical. It was how Leonard saw aging itself. He stopped thinking of these years as a long, slow decline. Instead, he reframed them as a final, powerful Act 1, where every day could still be filled with learning, laughter, movement, and meaning. As Leonard says now, "I wasn't dying because I was old. I was fading because I stopped challenging myself." And that shift changed everything. He now mentors other older men who feel invisible, leads a weekly walking club, and writes essays for his local library's newsletter. His goal isn't just to live longer, it's to make these years count in a way he never expected. So here's the truth Leonard wants you to hear: you are not done. You are not broken. You are not beyond repair. You are capable of far more than you've been told. If you've been making even one of the 5 deadly mistakes Leonard did, it's not too late. Start with one small change. Revisit your medications. Move your body in a new way. Call someone you've lost touch with. Learn a new language, instrument, or skill. Challenge the myth that aging equals decline. Which of Leonard's lessons spoke to you the most? Drop a comment below with the number of the mistake that hit home and one small action you'll take starting today. Your future self is waiting to thank you. And if this message moved you, please like this video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. Because life after 70 isn't the epilogue, it's the most powerful chapter you've yet to write.